Why do some people deal with pressure well and keep moving while other people hit the same pressure and then shut down? Is it discipline? Is it grit? Or is it something else running the show? What if the reason you feel overwhelmed isn't because you're weak, but because your system is overloaded? What if the reason productivity hacks stop working isn't laziness, but capacity? And what happens if you keep solving the capacity problem with more force? Do you get stronger or do you burn out faster? In this video, we're going to unpack why pushing harder can make tough moments worse, what capacity actually means, and why increasing it changes everything. Because if you misdiagnose this as a discipline issue, you will keep fighting the wrong battle. Hey everyone, Dr. Greg here, and today we're going to be talking about why and how we can increase our capacity to deal with stress rather than try and brush it off or fight it off. So first, you've got to understand what capacity actually is, because stress and anxiety make no sense without it. Stress isn't just about what's happening around you, it's about how much your system can hold before it starts to strain. And capacity is the size of that holding space. When pressure exceeds your capacity, your body doesn't interpret that as this is hard, it interprets it as a threat. That's when anxiety spikes, focus narrows, and your reactions get sharper than you intended. Two people can face the exact same pressure and react completely differently, not because one's stronger, but because their systems have different limits. If you never look at capacity, you'll keep calling it weakness when it's really just overload. A big mistake a lot of people make is trying to increase capacity by trying to override your mind with sheer willpower and calling it discipline. When you treat overload like a motivation problem, you're not building resilience, you're just shortening your fuse. And what's worse is that every time you ignore early stress signals and push through anyway, you teach your system that rest isn't an option. Over time, that shrinks your threshold, so it takes less and less pressure to tip you over. The key thing to understand here is discipline without recovery doesn't build strength. It builds fragility that looks strong until it suddenly collapses. And when your system's maxed out, force feels productive in the moment, but it reduces your long-term capacity. So here's the part that actually changes things. If you've been listening this whole time wondering, okay, but what do I actually do? Here it is. You've arrived. Capacity doesn't grow because you push harder. It grows because you train your system to recover on purpose. Most people only practice stress. Very few people practice recovery, and capacity grows through regulation reps, not pressure reps. That means you intentionally teach your nervous system how to come back down, not just how to power through. The fastest way to increase tolerance is to build daily downshifts, even when you're overwhelmed. That could look like 10 minutes of quiet without input, slower breathing on purpose, a short walk without your phone, or naming what you're feeling instead of suppressing it. If you never downshift your system when things are calm, you won't be able to downshift it when things are intense. Capacity increases when you alternate load and reset intentionally, when you work hard and then deliberately return your body to baseline. That back and forth movement is what expands the threshold. And when the threshold expands, tough moments stop knocking you out and start feeling like something you can move through. So one of the best things that you can do is practice mindfulness, paying attention on purpose to the present moment, non-judgmentally. By non-judgmental, I mean focusing just on the facts of the situation. By practicing mindfulness in the moment, you're going to be able to actually recognize, whoa, I am overloaded right now. And if you're overloaded, if you know that you're overloaded, then you can actually do something more. But you can't do anything unless you actually recognize it first. Step 2, how much fun do you have in your life right now? How much time for self-care do you have? When I talk about self-care, I'm talking about, do you have 15 minutes? Do you have 30 minutes? Whether that's a show you like to watch, whether that is something like meditation that you can do, maybe some guided movement, something that is meant for you to help you downshift from that pressure, that overwhelm, into that space where you can calm the nervous system. If you want to increase capacity, just push is not actually going to help you. It's going to cause more of a problem in the long run, particularly with your nervous system, because that pressure is going to start to be seen as a threat. Think about anyone out there who's chronically overworked to the point of exhaustion. That's why when you think about even job like firefighters, they have 24 hours on, 48 hours off. And maybe when they first started, they thought, I can't really do this job. But by easing up to it, pushing a little bit, easing off, easing up, easing off, that helps them get to the point where they can do their job effectively and not take the work home with them. If you find that you're lacking motivation to move forward in your life, it may not be a discipline problem. In fact, I would argue it's probably not a discipline problem. If anything, you're probably too overstimulated, overworked, overstressed, and you need to find a way to back off pushing your boundaries. You need to be able to reset, recoup, relax, so that you can get back to your task more effectively. So here's the thing. If you keep calling this a discipline issue, you will keep fighting yourself. And over time, that internal fight becomes your baseline. Your capacity isn't fixed, but it does shrink when you ignore it. And it expands when you train it correctly. You don't need to become harder, you need to become more regulated. If tough moments keep overwhelming you, that's not a character flaw, it's a capacity ceiling. And ceilings can be raised. That's the kind of work I do with my clients every week. Not making them tougher, but making them more capable. And if you're interested in getting a few additional skills to help you become more capable, check out my Autopilot Interrupt protocol on my practice website for free. First link in the description.